Good morning, sis. I just wanted to let you know I'm up and getting ready for work. I actually don't have to go into work until this afternoon, but I am going to take Haley to work at 9:15. Um, but I just wanted to put your heart at ease and your mind at ease that um, I am just so at peace with what's happening to me. God just spoke and spoke and spoke last night and just, reassured me that this is the track he has me on, and, that nothing that I've gone through in my life has been in the norm. I've been in this 2% category of rare and weird since 1993, and so why would this surprise me that I'm going through this experience, as I don't have the normal stuff that most people do. So I am going to, as I mentioned to Pam, and I'm going to get on and mention to the girls that I go to my cardiologist this afternoon, and I'm going to present to him what's been happening with me in a very ignorant kind of way, because you don't want to offend the godlike mind of doctors that they know everything and we know nothing. And I'm going to have faith and trust that, God's leading this. I already told him, you got to give me the words, because, I'm going to be, like, dude, don't even try to discredit what I'm experiencing, because that's just a major insult, and I might have to go off, because now I'm not responsible for my actions, because I'm being zapped with frequencies that are causing me to go crazy. And the thing that is really disturbing is that the feeling that it gives me, I can understand if I let that out, like where we were at in the restaurant, like what I went through in the hotel room, if I let that out in public, it's going to look like I'm crazy. And that's how I feel. Like I'm crazy. I'm like something has possessed me, and I have no control over what I'm feeling. And I can see how people could be diagnosed with mental illness very easily. And yet that's not what it is. And that's the sad part. So, I am going to go and I'm going to keep on working until, I don't know. God just laid on my heart last night. He's like, quit making plans on where you're going to go and what you're going to do and where you're going to live and how you're going to handle this, because I've already got it all planned out. And so I'm like, okay, sorry, I'll back off. So I'm not making plans anymore. I'm going to do what he basically said and keep on working until I can't work anymore. I will make sure that I, like I said last night, have the CBD during the day and at night, because I can't believe the difference once I dosed up yesterday. I mean, I told Pam it's kind of funny because desperation generates creativity, and I had put all of my CCO in little bottles so that it was easy to travel with. And so there was a lot, not a lot, but enough left in them that if I melted them down, got, hot water in them and shook them up, that, I ended up with at least about this much. It's watered down, but it was enough to take the edge off. And I actually slept better last night, finally, than I have in weeks. So, it's just like God just said, this is part of that shield of armor that you're going to need to get through this. So, quit shaming yourself for a plant I created. I'm like, okay, I'm done. I'm done trying to get myself off of it. And, I'm like, I mean, it was like while we were in Ohio, not in Ohio, but on the plane, I told Sodaida, I said, you know what? I'm just going to have a glass of wine and see if that helps relax my body enough to where I can sleep a little bit on the plane. And it did the trick. One little, the bottles that they give you on the plane, one little bottle got me enough to where I was like ready to, I was relaxed. And I had, of course, dosed myself up with my other stuff. So it just kind of worked together. And I was able to rest, But like I told her, I said, this last week and a half, I got so desperate. I was like taking NyQuil, just to try to get my body to relax enough to where I can try to go to sleep. And I'm like, I'm not going to be that desperate person that's, grabbing pain pills and NyQuil and Benadryl, because I did that the other night too. I took 2 sleep aids and 2 Benadryls to try to sleep. And I still only slept an hour and a half, and I had taken 20 milligrams. I don't know if I told you that. 20 milligrams of melatonin. Sharon tells me that she can take 1 milligram and she'll be falling asleep on the chair. I laid there and took 20 milligrams and still, and I've taken them all at separate times to make sure that they weren't, conflicting with each other, and can't sleep. So, and it doesn't feel like it used to be before I would keep me awake was my fibromyalgia and my legs, my restless legs. This is not that. This is a restless, anxious, irritable feeling that I just can't get it under control. But CBD yesterday, last night, under control, and slept like a baby. So I'm not going to be grabbing for pharmaceuticals and all this chemical toxic crap to try to get my body to relax and rest. So CBD it is. And I'll be ordering, I got to go today to get my one with the THC for the night. And then I'm going to be ordering the other one probably today. So just know God is leading this. I've got all the faith in the world and the trust in Him that I'm going through. It will be... Wrong lipstick. It will be like a pioneer, so to speak, of EHS. Like I told the girls, when Daddy was diagnosed, it was rare. What Mom had was rare. What I've had over the years, pseudotumor, the mass in my duodenum, rare. And, for years I've had doctors look at me like I'm, this guinea pig. Well, you know what? I'm going to be my own guinea pig. And I decided that, God reminded me last night that, I decided that after those 4 surgeries in 19 days, and everything that I went through there, that I'm, I was, with pseudotumor, I was one of 32 patients in Fresno in 1993 diagnosed with that. The 4 surgeries in 19 days. The doctor, the neurosurgeon told me that, he had never gone through anything like that with a patient before, have those kind of complications. The fibromyalgia, the chronic fatigue, the insomnia, the chronic migraines, all of that, they all said was the result of the infection to my body and the trauma to my body from the 4 surgeries in 19 days. So, and then I end up with a mass in my duodenum bulb that the gastroenterologist says I was his second patient in 24 years to have a mass in that area. Why should this surprise me? Um, you know, Aunt Ruby had ALS as a woman and died in the 90s or whenever it was, 97. That was rare. Her breast cancer was rare. So it's not like we come from a long line of we're all normal for whatever reason. I don't know, but I know that this has been my journey, and so it shouldn't surprise me at this point that this is what I'm going through. I just really had prayed. I've prayed through the years that, Lord, I just feel like I've been in pain and tortured the majority of my life, and the majority of my life has been just focused on trying to survive. To sit there in a restaurant for an hour and do nothing but try to focus on breathing, just breathe, makes you feel like you're just being tortured. And so for whatever reason, he's got me here, and, he's not answering my prayers the way I want, but he's giving me the strength and the stamina and the desire to, keep fighting. So my fight is survival, and it's also awareness of what all these dangers are that people don't see. And I just last night learned that my CPAP that I've had on me for the last 5 years has some sense of waves coming off of it. I'm going to check it with the radiation detector and see what it's doing when it's on. But my cell phone, even I was putting it on airplane mode at night. And even with them on airplane mode, they read, I'm going to have to go because I have to take Haley. They read like in the thousands to 2,000, which is a high reading. And when they're on and not on airplane mode, they're in the 4,000s. So I am choosing to turn off my cell phones at night. I'm going to be looking into getting like a little flip phone, and I don't remember if I told you this or not, a little flip phone that in case of an emergency, be like you have the number and the girls have the number and Pam will have the number and Cheryl and Frank, but nobody else. And then that way, in case of an emergency, I can be reached, but it won't be putting off the frequencies that the phones are. And I've been confused on this whole thing, but last night I did some research, and electromagnetic fields, EMF, is equal, it is radiation. It's just another terminology for radiation. So, I'm being radiated, basically. And it's the frequencies that are causing the symptoms. So I know it's hard to understand. I'm still trying to understand it. I'm still trying to put it all together, but I do know, I can probably live years. Pam and I have talked many, many times, and I mentioned to Soraya that, we have talked about like creating a safe zone, what they call a white zone, that is EMF free. There's no cell towers, there's no Wi-Fi, there's none of that. People basically create their own safe environment that doesn't have any of that. They have to grow their own food. They have to have water, their own well. We've talked about doing that. I'm probably a little bit more passionate about doing that now because I'm experiencing it. And, it's like God said to me, that I'm not really creating it for me. I'm creating it for the future and the people that are left behind. And that could be my own family. So, it's deep stuff. It's, I don't know. I don't know the terminology to use, but I feel honored in a weird kind of way that the Lord has me here, and I've probably never felt his presence as closely as I do now. I've never been able to listen to my body as well as I do now. And so all of that is by design. It's not a coincidence. And so you get to have a front row seat to what this is all going to be. And I did tell Pam she needs to get in touch with you. And I know this is all bizarre when I say this, but this is what makes this all worth it. Just no different than the abuse issues and being a testimony for people that they can get through it and they can survive it and they can overcome it. This has been my life for some reason. So this is no different. So that he just had me go back and listen to the videos that I sent you, and I've saved them because it's basically I'm laying out pretty much my last will and testament. I mean, it's kind of like, this is what I'm going through. I can see a documentary being developed over these videos that are explaining what I'm going through and how I'm connecting the dots and, the effects that it's having on me. I notice it in my face. It's a little bit better today, but every single day after the zap, it was like, I could just see it all in here, and in here. And I know over time, it's going to show more and more because the more I get zapped, the more it just like speeds up the aging process. So, and I've seen that in Pam, and I'm watching it in me. So, but I have a story to tell, and that story needs to get out. So, just, if you can, if you push down on the video, down on the little icon, it'll give you the option to save the polo. You can save them. I don't know if you can save the ones I send to you. I can't save the ones you send to me, so probably not. But I've saved the ones that I send to you. Because I requested Pam to put them all together and make a story out of it. I've also asked her to use these stories as a montage because I really want people that will be at my service to hear what I've gone through. Because I'm sure, like I said, on my on my death certificate, it will say heart attack or Alzheimer's or whatever. And that's not what has taken me down. It's the EMF affecting those organs. So it's important. God just keeps saying it's important. You got to get this message out. You got to get the word out. And so what better way than at my service to have a captive audience to be able to say, look, this is what I've gone through. This has been my experience, and this is a danger for everybody. And I really have a passion that if God lets me survive long enough, I really want to go into retirement communities and warn them of the dangers, because it just breaks my heart thinking that, these old people are being exposed every single day to, all these signals, and it's no big deal. They look at it as, that Jane Doe, like I said before, or John Doe got dizzy and fell and busted his head open. Well, why did he get dizzy? Oh, he's 86, of course he's going to get it. Well, you know what? Maybe it just might have been the 16 signals that were going on in there that caused me to get dizzy and caused my vision to go blurry, that's affecting them the same way. And or when I'm having heart symptoms that indicate that I'm having like a heart attack and short of breath, that maybe they are too, and maybe it's affecting them. But it's definitely aging them faster. So, but they're not going to, that's not going to be a big deal. Well, it is for me. The schools, all the schools have Wi-Fi. What's happening to those children? There's more kids wearing glasses nowadays than, along with Sanaya. She's got stigmatisms that are getting worse and worse. Why? Shouldn't happen to young kids, but more kids are wearing glasses. like I told the girls, all I can do and all God has me doing is planting the seed of information and planting the awareness. What you do with that is between you and God, not me. I'm not here to judge how people choose to live. Do I look at now when everybody's on their cell phone and doing this number and everybody around me is, with their cell phone in their hand, and a 4-year-old that has a laptop on his lap? Yeah, it makes me cringe because I know what it's doing to them. And I know it may not show up for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, but it's going to show up. And it's just going to be written off as stigmatism. Or autism, or attention deficit, hypersensitivity, hyperactivity, it's going to be labeled something else. It's going to have a medical diagnosis when that's not what it is. So I love you very much. And I got to go take Haley to work. So I just wanted you to put eyes on me. And that's the name of my third book. My first one is Loving Abuse. My second one is going to be Very Emotional Journey. And my third one is going to be Eyes on You, Eyes on Me. And I have left instructions for Pam to put that all together and get that published if I don't get that done before my days end. So I think that's it. I love you very much. And the fight continues. And I will talk to you later. I hope you're doing good. Okay.